Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
I'm back and I'm mad.
Execute Order 66. Good evening, you lot. Hello, Jerry.
Hola, muchacho.
Dutch Crispin, Crazy Redcoat, Balthazar 001, Demon Sup. Crispin is counting down. I'm guessing he's going to tell us all about the best movie that there ever was.
Oh, that sounds interesting. I wonder what that would be. I would like to know more about the best movie that there ever was.
Hello, Lena. Jerry says hi. Zenzian, happy birthday. Have fun. So, as you all have seen, today is May the 4th, and we could, theoretically, speak all day long about Star Wars.
Yes.
But where's the fun in that?
Could be fun.
Could be. But
Could be.
on a more, well, for me personally, a bit of a depressing note, one Richard Halliwell has passed away, and it's depressing for myself because I actually had to look up who that was, and then came to the realization, fuck, this person is in no small part responsible for me having fun at the table.
He was part of the Holy Trinity of Halliwell, Johnson, and actually wasn't even Johnson at that stage. Halliwell, Ansel, Priestley, who were responsible for pretty much fucking everything out of Games Workshop. So much so that I'm pretty sure Rick Priestley said in an interview once that Richard Halliwell was the best games designer he ever knew, and he's certainly responsible for an awful lot of innovation. So much so that a lot of his games are still available to this day, and I'm not just talking about, Wampster like that up there, although to a certain extent it was up until they double tapped it and then finally changed the system. But the stuff he did pre Warhammer 40,000, so Laserburn is like the direct predecessor to 40k. Yeah. And a few weeks ago, on the end of the week, we did Alternative Armies, and in amongst their rules section, they have a load of books, including Laserburn, and there's another, like a mass. Laserburn was like 40k, and that was like small scale skirmish, like 30 odd models tops.
Yeah, the Old Hammer wiki has him credit for Reaper, Combat 3000, Attack of the Fungoid Trolls, scenario for Reaper, and Imperial Commander for Laserburn.
Yeah, Imperial Commander was the mass battle version where you had, almost 50 or 60 models per side, which was big in those days for skirmishy type things. And it's still, Alternative Armies, I think Alternative Armies are still selling it. In fact, they were selling like a special version of it recently. I don't know if they still have that. Yeah,
and for the more, I think, noticeable games he's credited on that page is Warhammer Fantasy Battle 1st and 2nd Edition, Rogue Trooper, Space Hulk, Block Mania.
Yeah, my version of Warhammer 2nd Edition is signed by Richard and Rick. Just while I can show off, but obviously Block Mania, it's still available. More on that later. Warhammer, sensational. Dark Future, technically not, although GW, because they don't care about their old games, farm the license out to some shit show to make like a digital version. I don't know if that's any good. Even if it is, it's not the same game. Which is a shame, because Dark Future was so much fun. It was essentially what Gaslands is these days. You've got post-apocalyptic future. It's 1995. Everything's gone fuckwise, and you just have to drive around and kill up people on the open highways, or you could be on natural track. Doing it for Bloodsports.
The world's gone to shit. This sounds so distant.
Well, it was written I'm pretty sure it was written in the 80s.
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
Yeah, I know they did do something wacky, where GW went back to it in the 2000s. There were books written by Kim Newman, he of Genevieve Undead fame, and Anno Dracula with his massive Dracula serpent penis. So him, he used to write for GW under the name Jack Yeovil. So he wrote things like Route 666, which was a cracking little novel, which I have about here somewhere. So GW, king of the retcons, retconned it and went in and changed shit to, like, it's now the far off distant future of 2021 or 2020. I can't remember which. However, because it's GW and they're half-assed hack fucks, they didn't change all of the lines. They just went in and occasionally went, they must have went, find Control F, find 1995, replace with 2021, which meant you got lines like, the millennium is only 5 years away. That was still there, because why do your job properly?
Why proofread anything?
Fucktards. I hope they all die.
Yeah.
It's still writing for them again under Kim Newman. Wow. I remember when Kim Newman just used to do like late night movie reviews of horror on Radio 1 for Mark Radcliffe. That was fucking amazing. But yeah, Richard Halliwell, Space Hulk, classic. Warhammer, genre defining, I think it's safe to say. And anybody who thinks it's not just need to look at GW, which built their back off the game system he designed.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's relatively safe to say if he hadn't been with the people at the time he was whilst creating Warhammer Fantasy Battle, even if a game of that name would have surfaced, there's not knowing if that would have gone through the roof as it has.
Yeah. I mean, you've just got it. The catalogue of stuff he worked on was amazing, and then he just disappeared. He did some sort of Beatles India thing where he fucked off to find himself and didn't return for years. It's a very sad end to the man. Yeah. Came home and some cunt had nicked all his money, took all his stuff, because nobody could contact him while he was finding himself in the middle of fucking nowhere for a decade. He had nothing.
Yeah, it's sad, but because of that, we chose to look at some projects on the theme closely resembling his works. So they might feel a bit over the place, and there might be some projects in there that may or may not be a little bit older.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was very diplomatic. I went looking for stuff, and if it was on the wrong shape basis, it didn't get included. I am nothing if not...
The selection process is very thorough.
Very thorough. Very thorough.
So, shall we start then with Oldenheim?
Yeah. Always good.
By Piers.
For a bit of content.
Apothecary Werner Finkelstein.
Finkelstein.
I'm pretty sure he means Finkelstein, but...
Might not be. Sometimes they deliberately transpose things. And that looks like it's been cut and pasted from somewhere.
Possible.
But,
Duke Albrecht Lössinger. It's almost as if someone at the early days of finding names for the things in Warhammer just simply took a phone book from Germany, pointed it. This sounds cool.
Yeah. If not one of those, then often, historical textbooks. Priestley, after all, was studying for his PhD in ancient history and archaeology, I think, when he dropped out to design games for children. So I imagine he'd already invested heavily in a big pile of books. We all know how expensive those can be. Fuck it, get some use out of it.
This stitched together undead looks really nice. A golem.
It looks like a fella I went to school with.
Oh. Before or after you met him?
You know. Bit column A, bit column B. I think it's the ginger hair more than anything else.
And Bretonnians. Are these actual old sculpts from GW Citadel?
Yeah. In most cases, he will list where they're from. So whenever I said that that text looked like he'd taken it, he may have taken it straight from the advertisement of the page. So likewise, when you hit the Norman-looking fellas, a lot of these ended up at at War Games Foundry with Brian Ansell when Ansell sold the company during the management buyout, and he took anything that was vaguely historic looking, like the ninjas, which up until very fucking recently were still the best 28mm ninjas on the market, because nobody else was doing ones that weren't shit. So Normans, Vikings, Bretonnians were almost all sort of early 100 Years' War, up to and including things like the firepot cannons and stuff like that. So yeah, there's a lot of weird and wacky stuff in there.
Yeah, but I gotta say, these sculpts have something I cannot really put my finger on. It's
probably Pierce painting, to be fair. He's a talented fuck.
Yeah, that's undeniably so. The Cabal of Change.
I mean, look at those. Every man jack of them's a piece of work. See, I didn't say total cunt. It's very good in that respect. Did anybody at home notice that he didn't start with a 3.5 hour long monologue from a movie? That would have got him copyright banned, by the way. just throwing that one in there.
I was thinking about it.
Just keep going until they just take your channel away.
Well, until now they just do a claim there's no copyright strike, so I'm still 3 strikes out.
You say that. You say that.
Look at these lovely dwarves.
There's a dwarf lord of legend in the middle of that group. There's Uther himself, one of the Imperial dwarves, stealer of bedposts. I'm
betting Ben would have a field day if he would get some of these.
Weirdly, he has Uther. In fact, we may even see, because I think I've stuck his project in here anyway, just because of them. Because, you know, I felt going old school.
But why is there every entry double?
I don't know. Are they?
Some of them are twice.
I imagine he was impatient.
Hitting the buttons.
Spamming away.
God,
screaming,
how long is
damn
this?
It's not as long as this World War II project. I will say that.
You're starting to scare me. Yeah, we're not
fuzzy wuzzy.
We're not going for previous projects.
No, you're best not. Although anybody who has any interest in Oldhammer really should.
Yeah, and
also, if anybody has any suggestions for like some sort of chat showy type thing about Oldhammer, let me know, because me and Pierce were talking about it, going, there's a really good fucking Oldhammer community. We should really be doing something about that. We just can't work out what we're going to do. If it isn't just going to be, wasn't Warhammer great before they fucked it up? Well, isn't it shit now? How shit it is, they've got round fucking bases.
You could start with, let's say, you take 10 consecutive issues of a White Dwarf, and then just look at the highlights.
Oh, with the exception of the advertisements, every page in a White Dwarf is a highlight. Fuck's sake, just look at the highlights. I'll just grab, what's this? September 85. So, and even then, even then, the fucking adverts were mentally good. I mean, look at those. Those are fucking adverts, huh? Telling you stuff. Guarantee the Orc's Nest is in here, because the Orc's Nest is always in here. I was going to say Denzin. But it's not. It's Denizen. Anyway, what we got? Features. Psionics in AD&D and other role-playing games. Smashing. Skyrig, a traveller adventure on a space station. Excellent. Knights Dark Agents, continuing our series on ninjas and RPGs. Fucking outstanding. Sunfire's Heart, an epic AD&D scenario. Not just a regular one, an epic one. Probably Epic Legion. Some sort of shit about readers' questions to White Dwarf. We won't worry about that. But then after that, you've got, you know, science fiction and fantasy books being reviewed, RuneQuest, Vampires, Thrud the Barbarian. Fucking who loves a bit of Thrud? Starbase, Traveller, Tabletop Heroes, news boards. Everything is fucking amazing. It was like 70 pages of gorgeousness.
See, there's your
Look at it.
jumping off point.
No highlights. You just have to do it page by page, blow by blow. Look at the Norks on her, for fuck's sake. That's sweet. You can see, look. Get you banned now by showing the Norks off. Can you see him? In the picture behind the bar.
Oh,
she's got baps out, sun out, tops off.
Naked knockers.
Anyway. So yeah.
That would be interesting. Would you rather do a video format or more of a podcast type of thing?
I don't know. We don't know. We haven't decided. Video is good because people like colour. It also means you can show things off.
That's true.
Which you can't do if you're just doing solely podcasting.
Yeah, very much true. But then again, you can't get in trouble for showing copyrighted material.
Yeah, that's true. But it depends what you're doing with it. You know,
yeah.
If we're just playing 4.5 hours of the unabridged Star Wars novelizations like you would do at the start of a Twitch stream, then yeah, I imagine we get fucked. If we're just flicking open a page going, look at these, they're amazing. Weirdly, who'd you call her? Oh, Sculptor, Marauder Miniatures.
Can't help you there. Sorry.
Husband and wife, Trish. Well, they're not anymore, but Trish Cardine has been posting stuff recently on her Facebook page of like old concepts. She's been like, she does this on off all the time anyway, going like, here's a green that I worked on in like 95 for Vultures or something. But she put up a page, double page spread of fantasy civilians for Warhammer and Warfrip and AD&D and all that shit from Marauder Miniatures, and it was great just going down through them. Mostly because I'm going, I've got that, want that, got that. But it was just nice seeing them again, you know, bartender with his hand in his apron and a flask in one hand ready to serve, artist looking hoity-toity with his paintbrush and palette, going full Bob Ross, you know.
Trish
just weird and
Camden?
wacky shit like that.
Trish Camden?
No, Cardine.
Morrison?
She was Morrison, but she's not in the last sort of 6 years, I think. They broke up. Anyway.
Well, then let's move on to the next project to keep within our tightly scripted 30 minutes.
Tightly scripted?
Wire Hunt and Wabbit. So, Evil Stew, Warhammer Fantasy Revisited.
Yep.
This is a rather old one. And I think he needs to finish this.
No, it's completed.
It is? Well...
Yep. It is. It says it's completed. You have to go down. It starts off with them in bits all over his table and finishes with them in colour all over his table. It's very good that way. That's what I imagine Lloyd expected when the project system began, rather than just everybody starting lots of bits all over their table and then moving on to different bits all over their table. It's excellent. Some of these are not old enough, but you know, you can't have everything.
Yeah, you have to make compromises at times, sadly.
Never compromise, Daniel. Not even in the face of Armageddon.
Says who?
Rorschach. It's always been the difference between us. Anyway, this is just nice because he does hit that point. There we go. Where all his shit starts to come together. I mean, that's relatively recent. I want to say, what was Bretonian Lizardmen? 97? 6th edition?
Looks like 6th edition. That's the same rulebook that's lying next to me on the floor.
But it's just great seeing ranks of stuff. Square bases in ranks, just like Richard intended before the dark times. So there's round-based cants. Also, I really like the fact he's using one of those stamps to do like chainmail and stuff on the green stuff, which is, I'm not going to say cheating, but I will say genius. I occasionally see it and I go, I kind of see where you're going. I can kind of understand why that would be useful, but I can't ever envisage it myself.
He's done a lot. Oh, and a dragon.
Dagron, indeed. Dagron, indeed. Yeah, I mean, he went through various things, up to and including color shift painting his dragon so that it was, you know, full on shiny in every direction.
Purpley Knights.
Yes. Royalty, you know. Probably. Possibly royal. There is bacon and sausages at some point, I'm not sure why. It's a confusing time.
Bacon and sausages. Why would you include bacon and sausage?
Facing Armageddon, Paul, is very much like making love to a beautiful woman. Swiss Tony. Nice.
We're not lying.
No, I wasn't lying. I never lie, except for whenever I lie like a filthy bastard. Da, 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 da. There are substantially more entries. We won't be going on to them.
Oh,
we could have just done the first 2 projects for the entire tightly scripted half hour because they're both chunky. However, if anybody wants to see Whamster done correctly on proper basis in a correct way, those are 2 excellent projects to have a look at.
How the maker intended.
Obviously, this one is done and dusted, so you know you can get lost in that for a finite amount of time. Pierce just keeps finding and stripping models and adding them
I'm
onwards.
Just astounded on the sheer breadth he has for this. I think this is on one page the stretch over a year. And it's not like he starts it in 1 month and 11 months later he adds another entry. No, this is a consistent growing project.
He was a man with a plan. A man with a plan. And I have a terrible feeling he was still doing other projects at the same time. So, you know, it's got that going on. But it's really nice. I mean, for anybody who does feel like diving further into it, there's some 3D printed buildings and stuff that are very Warhammer-ish in the further page and a whole host of other things. Even down to, I quite like, he color codes the base rims on his Chaos Warriors, so you can look down and go red, Gorn, purple, Siege. So it's all good in the hood.
Yeah, this is a not unsignificant part of time, money, space.
All right, a not. I'm with you.
It's
triangular bacon. It's the best
insane.
way. It's circular bacon. Those bacon medallions just roll off your grill. I imagine the triangle keeps it over the edges. There's might be some reason for it. It tessellates. Triangular bacon. Much easier to tessellate your sandwiches.
Maybe the buns were triangle as well. So next up then is B6712 doing Goblin
Graph
Wolf
speed.
Riders.
Yes. He needs a bit of a nudge on this one, to be brutally honest. Because, like me, he started it
Well,
in a previous decade.
It says it's complete.
You know, he says it's complete. I can't imagine it's complete with only that amount of Wolf Riders. However, it is a little niche in and of itself. Just saying. Put a second rank on them. What the fuck are 5 Wolf Riders going to do?
Well, you've got 10.
he starts off with the Stabby Goblins, the most vicious of all goblins. Stabby Goblins! Before moving on to his hairy wolfen ones.
And again, using proper pacing.
Oh yeah, like I say, I was very finicky. Even, I mean, there were a couple of nice Warhammer-looking Kings of War armies on multi-bases. They didn't make the cut. The bases are the right shape, but they weren't individually based.
Oh,
So,
shame.
You know?
I like his painting.
Gotta have rules, otherwise it's anarchy.
I like his painting handle. This.
I wonder where he got the idea from.
I got a piece of wood. I just drilled some rods in it.
Yeah. You know, that's only for the small bits. For the bigger things, he just keeps the piece of wood, or the blue tacks, or I think white tacks. His wolf is straight to it. Bush, there you go. Everybody's on there. Bish, bash, bosh. Ole, ole, biscuit barrel.
Nice. So with this project, we caught up a little bit of time, which leaves me.
Oh yeah. Oh, there'll be some even faster than that. Don't worry.
Which leaves me a bit of time to do promotion, which Rolf in the chat already has done, because Rolf and I again edit doing horrible puns on Star Wars on Sunday when will have watched the initial 2 episodes of The Bad Batch. So get yourself right.
Why is one of their helmets got a raised eyebrow made into it? What the fuck is the point of that?
I'm guessing you're referring to the sharpshooter, because that's...
Oh, I have no idea. I looked at it and went, what wank?
Yeah,
what wank doth before my eyes? And then I just had flashbacks to the first 15 minutes of Clone Wars and went...
It's the sharpshooter. The design is...
Shit.
Personal.
Shit. It makes no fucking sense.
That's your opinion.
Not my opinion. If he's wearing a fucking helmet with a having a big fuck off ring, wide-eyed looking cunt of a thing on him.
It even gets worse.
No practical.
He has a crosshair tattoo over his eye.
Oh well, you know, maybe somebody will take use of that in the future and shoot him through his fucking eye. I can but hope.
Then let's hop on to the next project before this
fucking
gets
raised eyebrow helmet. What a load of balls.
Weird.
There's one called Strap On with a massive fucking black Russian codpiece as well.
Gigantic dwarf army.
It is a gigantic dwarf army.
And they're all ginger.
Not all of them are ginger. Some of them are strawberry blonde and some are Caribbean lush.
And some are bold.
And some are, as you say, bold. Discuss. The gigantic dwarf army ginger picture at the top is the Storm of Chaos Troll Slayer Horde army. But that is not the only thing he has. And I mean, when you see a Napoleonic square of fucking dwarf clansmen formed like that, I mean, it's enough to make your giblies tingle.
5? How many are there? Those are 5 rows by... I can't count. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 50? There's a 200 dwarfs?
I imagine those are hordes. 2, 4, 5 by 10s. Yeah.
No, 4 by 10, sorry, 4 by 10. So 40, 40, 40.
Yeah, there you go, 160. See?
Oh, God.
Not as bad as you thought.
Slightly less terrifying.
If it's any help, they're all plastics. So it's not like it was a massively over-the-top expenditure on those ones.
And even though they are more or less, let's call them single post, this doesn't look monotone to me. This is... oh god. I think if I were to play Warhammer Fantasy Battle and this would be set up right in front of my army, I would shit myself.
I'll just keep shooting them. Toughness 4 is great, but I mean, that's only a 4-up armor save. Shoot them with something big. Even bows will take off half of them a turn. You know. I'd hate to run into them if I was playing something like an MSU Wood Elf army, because they could just steamroller you. But you know. But there we go. In amongst the, because I mean, those are relatively old dwarf clansmen. But in amongst there are some other ridiculous things, like the dwarf wizards, the gyrocopters, although they are all the new gyrocopters. But I love the one at the back, towing the dwarf on skis. He was an amazing little figure. I've always gutted I never got him, because he was sitting in my painting guide.
I may be wrong, but did he use the templates from 40k as basic material?
Could have done.
That looks like the Flamer template.
Don't forget, they would have been the same templates for fantasy though.
Oh yeah,
stage
right.
As well. So just the flame template is the way to go. It looks a bit too thick, so I think he's just matched the 60mm rounds that the others are on, and then just made a teardrop so he could have his skater at the back, which is just great. You know, some modern stuff gets in there at the end. With the iron breakers a la Mom.
Yeah, still very impressive.
Only bringing him up to a total count of 190. But I mean, look at them. Classic.
So what would your final 10 miniatures be to get to 200? What would you suggest for...
In a dwarf army?
Yeah.
Let me think. How many war machines has he got? I'm assuming he's using that autocannon looking fucker as his organ guns. So possibly some regular cannons. Rune of sharpness, rune of accuracy, rune of fire in case of tree men. Whoosh.
I'm always astounded by people having that much stamina to keep on.
But whenever we get back to the top, Hazy, you'll see he has a Slayer army as well, so I wouldn't bother including any more Slayers. I'd look for something outside of the Slayerage, because he must have the guts of 120 odd Slayers there.
10
various
on
elks.
the tray. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I'm thinking that's plus 100.
Runesmiths were decent. I mean, especially if your opponent was fucking around a lot of magic, they could be very decent days.
Steam Tank was Empire only, or was it?
Annoyingly, yes, despite being built. Well, it was built by the Imperial School, but it was based on some dwarf war machine that the dwarves never actually got. They never made one. It was just in the fluff that he'd seen that, and so the humans made this.
It always struck me as a thing that should be a dwarven machine and not Imperial. But then...
Yeah, but you had the weird and wacky shit in the Imperial colleges. Because that lunatic... Leonardo de whatever his name was it Leonardo de Merigliano? I think it was, maybe, or I could be superimposing it because the marksmen were from Merigliano. Anyway,
making weird names even weirder.
Well, very much
Da Vinci.
No.
DiCaprio, yeah, of course.
Possibly that.
Next, then, Spring Clean Challenge. Oh, look, Ben. Hello, Ben.
Yeah, there's not a huge amount in here, and we've seen this, or at least it's been thrown up on screen in a weekender.
Yeah.
We've never looked at it.
Yeah, he showed off his classic collection.
And see, there's the Dwarf Lords, including second from the right in the picture there, that Uther model that we've seen earlier, nicking the bedpost. Still haven't found that keg backpack for Burlock though, which is terrible.
Yeah, these are very interesting, little tiny. But why? What is that green stuff on his back?
Which one? That's a parrot on the right, and that's a dragon scale cloak on the left. Half of one, the other half that also contains his back banner wasn't there whenever you got the model.
Well, thank God you told me it's a parrot. At first sight I thought it was some kind of vegetable on his shoulder.
It could be. Maybe it's a vegetableized parrot.
I will slay you with my broccoli of death.
Death broccoli.
Beware the vitamins. To be fair,
it's not a parrot, but it's a bit of carrot stuck in the end of a lettuce.
To be fair, from what I've heard about what Justin is eating or is not eating, you actually could have a winning strategy when you're charging him with vegetables.
That would work, yep. Although generally just charging him with the meat and 2 veg out is good enough. That will also make him flee for the hills.
Or maybe some sky-clad people.
Hello, Steve.
Hello, Toros. Welcome to the show. Yeah, iron is dangerous. Also, water kills you. That's why you shouldn't drink water.
100% of all pedophiles drink water. Just saying. Although they get an awful bad rap, but at least they slow down whenever they're approaching a school. So, you know.
You're getting us in trouble again.
Am I? I don't think I am.
Well, let's
Why
give
would that get us in trouble?
Let's give Ben a like on his project, and then we go on to Tanath.
But this one is a. I'm not saying we should all desperately spam the comments.
Oh yes, we should, and you know why? Because that's one of these projects I had a look at, and I thought to myself, bloody hell, you had such a good start, make it finish.
Clearly has the talent based on the picture of his orc standard bearer with the evil sun.
Yeah, that's very nice one done.
Yeah, and then plan to go on and do it via the medium of dance or plastic card in this case. Very, 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 very thin plastic card. I also have very, 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 very thin plastic card.
So this is what he was aspiring to do, I'm guessing.
I mean, that could be exactly what he's done.
Well, this looks like he's taken a picture from an old White Dwarf or a rule book.
But I'm saying he may have done that. He may actually have this. We haven't seen it because he's not bothered his backside updating the project since he's done it. So...
Yeah, he sure has the prints for it.
Oh, yeah. Where they came.
And he somehow started on plastic card. Why didn't he finish?
Like I say, he probably has. He just needs gentle persuasion. Going, oi, Tanith, where's your fucking update, son? Just saying. Just gentle caress.
Well, if the project system allows, we will do a... Let's see if this works. Usually it draws them out from the bushes.
You can do the same with a piece of apple and just go pss, 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 pss.
Why would I use an apple to lure in a cat?
Because I imagine it works on humans as well. Surely. Bit of apple. Pss, 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 pss.
I don't think so. Next. Evil Stew. Again. What? Who cares? Solo Wargaming example playthrough. Pick heavy.
It is pick heavy.
I hate to say it, but
a little while
pictures
ago,
don't weigh anything. But
a little while ago, we were watching him paint a load of stuff, and then when he painted a load of stuff, he went, "I should play some games with all these painted miniatures, and write a battle report, just like Jerry demands on a semi-regular basis." And so he did.
2 years ago.
By shitting Jesus. You know, I've been demanding them for a while.
Yeah, you are.
And I continue. You're not the boss of me, right, Darcy from Kildare?
And with every right you are demanding, because you are the tech wizard and this is the project system of your tech wizardry, so
Fuck yeah.
I'm thinking that somehow makes you eligible to demanding battle reports. Plus,
Sure.
I don't know how to put it without sounding too snobby, but this table, this screams 90s, and I love it.
That's exactly what it says in the tin.
It's
6x4, my lord. Yes, please.
It's a great backdrop.
Fuck, it could even be an 8x4.
It's a great backdrop for taking pictures or just setting up your army, and I think it's a... This reminds me of the old strategy PC games where you see, yeah, this is a constructed town, but who cares? It's fun. Run
I
around.
like the fact he even did the up and downy bits, mountains on the backdrop.
Yeah.
So they've got that. I imagine he doesn't live in that grey void from the Serpent War saga.
You think there's an actual room behind the...
I think there may be stuff around that, and not just Pug, Thomas, and Macross the Black sitting there waiting for time to begin.
Well, it takes the focus on where it needs to be on the table.
Well, that's it. It stops people looking for, your inflatable sex doll hidden underneath the bench or whatever if you just edit all that out. Like that woman on BBC News, the massive dildo on her bookshelf behind her.
I've seen that. That was hilarious.
Curved like a scimitar it was.
Maybe it was a scimitar.
Ouch. But yeah, just a really nice, and it's like the old school battle reports where you've got a bit of narrative and a bit of this is what happened going on.
I think
could go a bit further.
I think
would
the
like to see
only
the
thing that
top-down
would
battle
be
chronicler map.
Yeah, it was just this map's the only thing missing. With the inspiring arrows going, this went that way, this unit went that way, this unit went kapoo.
Kapoo, yeah. Explosion and skull. That's how you know they're fucked. Which is, really easy to do. Just go and download Battle Chronicler. May appear on a jerry can at some point because I think it's fucking amazing.
I'm always wondering, there are so many YouTubers doing battle reports on every gaming system under the sun.
Yes.
And most of them have the horrible habit of using the camera in hand mode and just shaking all over the place.
It has to be said, the easiest way to film.
I get that, but it's terrible to watch. Especially if they don't do a voiceover after the fact, but are talking the whole day through, and you can't hear anything because they're just using the camera's mic. And even if they do battle reports on this way, I could watch them if they would go and make a map with a chronicler after each turn. Just to make sure everybody is on the same page and knows what unit went what way.
I used to use it years ago, Hazy Boy. Whenever they did the big worldwide campaigny things, and you had to submit a battle report in the campaign system, I would use it for that, for Kings of War and stuff, because you could do really interesting battle reports. But there were other things that you could do that, well, say you could. I couldn't because beyond my technical expectations. Let's put it like that. Because you can put in your own terrain and stuff, which required you to have to do it via the medium of PNGs and shit like that. Whereas now that I know Photopea is a thing that exists, Battle Chronicler and Photopea means you can actually put all the shit you need to. You could literally take photographs of your own miniatures and put them into Battle Chronicler. So, happy days.
Yeah, I think this would improve even video battle reports, at least for.
I would like to see it. I mean, even whenever we do a battle report and then we take the break between the turns, actually having that coming up so people can see what shit moved where and when, because it's not always easy to spot, especially if there's terrain on the table.
Yeah, and I think especially on games which are rank and file or large units, it would help see actual what's happening. If you've got, let's say, you've got 6 units of stormtroopers and they're all white.
I know a fella, there's a Greek guy called Nick who does historic wargaming, who actually uses Battle Chronicler to play games. So,
well, it's not anything different than Tabletop Simulator, I'd say.
No, it's good. So it's different from Tabletop Simulator in that respect. It's very similar to Universal Battle in that it's top-down and squares, or well, it doesn't even have to be squares. It could be, because you can play skirmish games on it as well. You can play round bases and spread out if you want. You have both options. But yeah,
would be interesting.
Yeah, you never know. I imagine we won't include them between turns because that would require editing from.
And prior to editing, somebody would have to take his time to make this.
You know, let's face it, even a 6-turn game, that's only 12 maps that need to be put up, you know, one for the end of each turn. It's, you know, and because the way Chronicler works, I probably will actually do a Jerry Cannon Chronicler, because the way it works is you literally move the stuff. So you go, this is here, it will now move 6 inches, and it moves 6 inches, and then you can put the pivot in, and then you then save that. So, you know, turn 1 ends with turn 1, and then turn 2 progresses. So everything is in situ. You're always moving the elements on the tabletop. So you really just have to deploy them and then do your movements from there, and you can put in your little explosions and stuff. It's great.
Yeah, and the only thing you actually would need to make yourself life a bit easier if you're creating these maps after the fact would be a top-down camera that, or more or less top-down, to actually see where everything went. And it wouldn't need to be a video camera. It could be a photo camera taking pictures in intervals of 10 minutes or so. Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Let's get on to the next project then.
Because the egg would freak out if told to edit that in. But, you know.
Spring Green Challenge. Nice play of words.
See what he did there? See? This one's actually ongoing at the moment. How fucking mad is that? From Rusher.
And
not to be confused with the Wusher, which are trees on Kashyyyk.
I can't tell. Are these current models or ancient?
No, that's Grom the Punch. And the fella with the massive bad moon is Grom the Punch's standard bearer of his chariot.
Niblet?
Who should not have a bad moon there. He should have a big fuck off banner pole. But that's broke off over time because it was lead. I don't think he was ever made in white metal. Or he just decided he wanted something lower to the ground.
Oh, Doom Divers.
Yes.
Doom Divers.
Not just any Doom Divers, but the original proper Doom Divers. Catapults. And Batwing Loonies.
These are one of the best things ever came out from GW. They're almost as much fun to see as a unit of what they're called again.
I know Dutch has gone full Invader Zim. Doom, 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 doom.
The drunken ones with the
drunken ones,
with
the Night Goblin fanatics.
Fanatics, yes.
How much fun is a fanatic? So much fun it should be illegal. Have some madcap mushrooms, boy. Send them on their way.
Stay hydrated. Sure thing, boss.
Oh dear. Well,
metal orcs.
Once again, old schooly things, and then some more recent things. I really like the old lead Goblin Wolf Riders. Nobody seems to have them anymore. I don't even have mine. But I do have those plastic ones that every other fucker seems to have. Although mine are still on the sprues. I'll get around to assembling them any day. I won't. Do it. It's not going to happen.
Night goblins.
Oh, they're so modern.
I ever
Look how
wonder.
modern they are. Quickly flee back to the old metals.
I ever wonder if the sculptor had, especially from the older ones, if they had ever imagined paints like the contrast and the likes.
Yeah. When a lot of those old school ones were being sculpted, they didn't even imagine acrylics existing. Everything gets a nice coat of oil or enamel. Those are the only paints that exist in the world. That's how that works.
It's hard to believe to have this hobby and not have the convenience of today's products.
Yeah. It probably explains why John Toyer won so many Golden Demons back in the day, despite only having 5 shades of brown. Everything he did was brown. Or, well, that's not true actually. Yellow and brown were his mediums. Didn't matter if it was an undead, a Skaven, an orc, a human, Eldar. Everything was the same, yellowy brown, as was all the terrain. Strange times.
At least a fitting theme.
You know.
I just look at this nice little goblin army. Right next to some dwarven, up for some action.
He's even crediting his photography skills thanks to me. So well done him. Well done him. Been out with the dip. Dippy dip. It's a nice, not a huge force, but it's a nice sized force. Notice the dwarves. Yeah, you have the dwarf picture up. I'd like to see more pictures of that dwarf army up close, because it's a delightful looking thing.
Maybe he already did his dwarves as a project? Have you
I hadn't noticed it. Yes.
Or maybe those weren't his, just a loner army to have a game or two. I still can't get myself to scroll over the lunatics. I love these olds. And Doomdiver is such a fitting name. They go down, they scream doom, and everything goes kaput.
Don't scream too loudly. Don't want people moving.
What is that goblobber? Asks Demon Sub.
Miniature paint, yep. Glass jars. I have some somewhere. They were like a red square border and green writing. Miniature paints. They weren't too bad. Unlike the Bobcat, which were terrible. Where's the rock lubber? What?
He asked about the goblobber.
Was that a goblobber?
What
I'd
even is a goblobber?
So goblobber was a technically it was a dwarven bolt thrower, but it had been captured by goblins, so they had dwarves strapped to it. But it was like a massive fuck off ballista. It's just a huge like team of 10 goblins firing it off.
I can't see it in the project, so either we just passed it somewhere or he's speaking weird.
All the way back. I was currently poking his profile just in case he'd snuck the dwarves in somewhere and hadn't labelled them as Warhammer. But no, he had not. Goblobber.
Oh, with the dwarves, there was a catapult with the dwarves.
Yeah, I know. It's just a regular stone thrower. Goblobber is massive. The Goblobber is almost the size of a regiment.
So more or less like this bell on wheels by the Skaven?
Yeah, like that. Except a massive ballista with dwarves all over the fucking place. It's great.
Next up then, another spring clean challenge by Ogreblood. Warhammer Armies. This is even older. I think this is the oldest entry yet, is it? Regarding the game itself, not the date the entry was made. It
Proper army books.
4th edition.
Yeah.
Oh, look at these nice work on the eyes.
Both of the eyes are on the face in more or less the correct position.
Oh, jeebus, this is again one of these cunts who are actually good at painting stuff.
Yes. Terrible, isn't he?
Horrible.
Don't worry.
He'll
be dead.
Isn't this one a conversion we looked at before?
Yes, but not in here. He has it in another place from whence he received a golden butt ding from Benjamino. However, he's also got some Battlemaster Empire with crossbow, which is just great. They are so small. I know this because I've got a bunch of them next door.
How small?
They're like true 25mm.
Oh,
so
God.
when you put them beside even, Empire, he's talking about actually getting Marksman and Rigliano. And if he puts them beside that, they'll kind of come up
To
to
the
their shoulders. But they still look great. It was a really nice box set as well because you got crossbow, bowman, spearman. They were all excellent. They were nice plastics for their day, actually.
Yeah, I got to say that from what I can tell from this picture, they don't look too shabby.
No. I mean, they didn't. It's like whenever you see. Remember that time Homer Simpson made a car?
Yeah.
That's what modern GW is. In 5 or 10 years, a lot of the shit they've done, people will just look at it and go, book. However, the older stuff, which was more subdued, will always have a place on the table. Even if it's not Warhammer, they would fit in any fantasy and not a few medieval armies. Because they look normal. They don't all have chicken legs and fucking 15 skulls balanced on their knob.
Or some weird horny helmet.
Yeah, that type of thing. Vampires look like vampires, not cants. So yeah. But I'd be curious to see where else that goes, because I mean, even the Manticore from the Imperial Zoo, that's a model I don't recognise.
I think
it's another one of the Battlemaster ones, but I never owned Battlemaster, so I couldn't tell you for certain. I just bought the miniatures off a friend whenever he was getting rid of them for my Empire army.
The model is from the old dungeon crawler Dark World.
Oh, there you go. Dark World, fuck me. Well, truly I'm getting mugged down memory lane on that one.
It's an interesting figure, I give it that.
It's a Manticore. Doesn't have wings, but when you've got a scorpion tail, you can get away with not having wings.
Yeah, I guess so. And I think I don't want to remember my encounters with manticores in the gateway to the Savage Frontier. They were a bit annoying.
Very bitey things.
And poison. Next then, Balthazar. Warmer Fantasy Pest Control. So I'm guessing by the picture this is going to be Ratkin?
Yes.
No. How many Ratkin before I scroll? Oh god, I've seen the
there
number.
There are a few Ratkin.
80 clan rats, 60 plague monks, 20 storm vermin, 40 night runners.
I mean,
200.
Not to put too fine a point on it. If you don't have that many, you're kind of fucked. Especially in the old days. In the Richard Halliwell days. When you're going, it's half a point for the man and half a point to upgrade their weapon. You know, well, why the fuck would I do that? I could get another man for that half point. Double all the units. Whoosh. That's how that one worked. Same for goblins.
A Zerg rush.
You're not getting a spear. Do you know how many of you I could buy for the cost of all those spears? You would say to them. Or then go back to your plantation.
I already
Smoke a
regret
pipe on the
this.
porch.
Finally got 40 reds based coats and washed. Why didn't I choose an easier project? I've got an answer for you. Because you're a masochist.
You know, is he though? Or is it the businessman in his suit and tie?
Same, but different. 200 models. Yeah, good luck with finishing that in time.
I suppose it comes down to what you want to paint a regiment of. Atlantis do some really nice models. And they aren't too bad scale-wise and frequently have sales on. So that's good. The goblins are very nice. I like their goblins. Dropped one of the Rogers earlier while I was trying to get set up for an interview. Broke his arm. That really annoyed me. Yeah, him and his arm are just sitting on that shelf looking at me.
Was it his shield arm?
Oh no, he doesn't have a shield. He's a wizard.
Oh, okay.
And it just sheared right at the elbow. I'm gonna have to fix that. I'll fix that. Anyway.
You could make a jerry can on how to fix a broken model.
Nope, don't need to. I've already done one on pinning. That's all it will be. Pin it in place, glue it back on. Life's too short. Waitings for wankers. Got to move on. Look at that. Look at those amounts scaven. Huh? I can have that if I could be arsed taking them off the spray and putting them together.
Soap Dodger, you don't need to hide your wallet. Your wallet knows.
Just hand it over.
Next
I do like the big, before we flee that one, there's the big fuck off, not Graham Claim one, Vermin Lord from Forge World. And that's a really nice model. I do, for I have one. And it was also really cheap, comparatively speaking, for both Forge World and GW. He was £45 when he came out. And I think the terrible malfeasance of plastic that they sell now doesn't look as good and costs more. Yes, it's taller, although I'm not sure why that's a good thing. But fortunately he has put on a weird base. You can have everything. It will fit on a square, I'm just saying.
It's possibly just a temporary fix.
Oh yeah, let's hope that. Let's hope that. Everything else is on a proper base. Don't know why he ruins it with big fucking oval base there. I think some sort of Space Marine bike can't.
Next up then is a Lost Patrol, but Duck the fuck?
Rebase, yes, rebase him. You can even fit him on a smaller square base if you cut off the last section of archway.
He's even in chat and saying everything is going onto squares. See? That's the proper way to do it.
Be looking at 3D printing files for Epic. Epic Legion.
What?
Epic.
What?
You paid 70 quid? Really? Oh man.
What, 70 quid?
For the Vermin Lord. I bought him direct from Forge World for 45. He's still grey. I've not even got around to undercoating the fucker yet. You know, someday. Won't happen.
So Duck the fuck is doing what looks like Gene Stealers in a Space Marine color scheme.
Let's do Gene Stealers in a Gene Stealer colour scheme. That is the classic colour scheme for Gene Stealers. Blue and purple.
Purple and blue.
Well, don't know what colour you think yours are.
Oh, mine are plastic grey.
Ah, I got confused. That's not the right one. That's the right one. That'll be one for...
An almost complete copy of Epic 40k for, yeah, £30 plus shipping plus import taxes.
Wow. Nice. That won't help you with Legion though, will it?
Not really.
No. Shame.
Unless there's a designer at AMG who could be bribed with a set of Epic. Which is a possibility.
It's a way to go. It is a way to go.
This is a lovely bloody bugger.
Yeah.
But is he finished? I don't think so.
He might be. There's more Spulk in the project system than you would imagine, because there was a competition run when they were re-releasing Spulk again and were giving away a copy, actually with Games Workshop, when they were being less cuntish but still cunts to us. So there's a little flurry of space hulky things. So, yeah.
Shame. Yeah, the project is still active. We need to see
and maybe
more.
the only handful of Gene Stealer types that he has. Just enough to do the little thing. Look at them. Look at them. Like West Ham, all claret and blue. Huh?
I love the stippling he's done on the blue parts.
It's very nice. There's a guy on Tinterweb who's done this thing called coconut crab pattern. He's done it on some Tyrannids, and it looks great. It's far more fucking hassle the way he does it than it should be. So he does all this, like paint the 3 bands of colour in, and then you have to be careful to not go over it. And you're going, well, your medium band in between is like your first band is light, your second band is medium, and your third band is dark. Just do them in fucking layers, mate. Don't worry about painting all 3 bands in at once. Just go over the top. Each colour will cover the fucking blue one. You can speed this shit up no end, but hey.
Yeah, Taurus, I'm with you. I'm also missing some black brain matter beige in this.
You can't have everything,
But
just saying.
Maybe something along the road will come and at least have something similar in mind.
Oh, I can't imagine it.
Next up is Space Hulk again by Dylan Cartier. Cartier? Whatever.
Could be.
So,
His family makes watches for a living.
Yeah.
It's not much, but something.
I've
still got coffee. How cold is this? Quite.
How dark is it?
Dark as a moonlit night.
This is a interesting beginning, but where the fuck is the end?
See, I told you. People, they got on board.
What
once they
use?
knew they weren't getting stuff. Well, that's Millipup. You can tell it's Millipup. Look at the colour of it. That's standard yellow grey Millipup. Pop.
Plastic sets, pieces of terrain.
Well, if you go down to the bottom, you'll see it before he puts the putt all over it to make it into gank. So you can see he's got the Land Raider side panels from Forge World.
Those aren't cheap.
Hey, maybe he decided he wasn't going to bother with them.
Is that a holder for brushes? I think it is.
It's when you buy a Winsor Newton Series 7. you get on those little tubes. It's all good. Again, it's one of those, so much potential. And then they didn't win Space Hulk, so we never got to see the end. At least Doug managed to paint all of his. Well done, Doug. Cheaper than green stuff. It is cheaper than green stuff. Better than green stuff as well. So it wins on 2 fronts.
Yeah, I'm always wondering, people bash so much on green stuff. Is it because
it's not as good? That's why I do. I'm not a dentist. So
yeah, but why?
I don't need to make impressions of my teeth.
But why did it make such an impact on the hobby then?
Because people, and I don't say this often enough, are fucking idiots. So it's very good for some things. Sculpting, for example. You've got a long working time. You can do bits and bobs with it. And so greens are generally green stuff. It can be smoothed out. It can be sculpted. What it can't be done particularly easy is cut, drill, or filed. So if you're not scratch building or actually sculpting something from the ground up, when you're finished, you better have done it fucking precisely, because you're not getting it down again without leaving massive marks, because it's fucking rubbery. And then GW started selling it, and people shit themselves over it and started using it for everything. Oh my god, oh, I'll use it for gap filling. It's amazing for gap filling. Again, it's not. It's fucking too rubbery to gap fill. Milliput is water soluble. You can put Milliput on and literally blend it into a gap, and then brush the excess away with a wet sponge until it is seamless. You can't do that with green stuff. And in fact, if you want green stuff to work better, you should mix it with Milliput, because Milliput can be filed, shaped, carved, and drilled, because it's hard. It's like a ceramic when it dries. So it's the right tool for the right job type of thing. You know, people looked at green stuff. It's like, holy shit, professional sculptors use this, therefore it must be the best putty. No.
So
again, if you want a dental impression, yes, it's great for dental impressions. If you want to fill a gap on a model, don't use fucking green stuff. If you want to sculpt part of a model, yes, by all means, actually sculpt it in green stuff. But again, mix it. You need to mix it with bees putty or brown stuff or Milliput.
I'm
using it by itself, just make it a fucking ball and you can bounce on the floor.
When Games Workshop started distributing green stuff, was there a broad knowledge of other putties, or was it simply because Games Workshop had the market to sell it, to upsell it to everybody?
I think it was because they had the market to upsell it. Before then, if you wanted green stuff, very few people knew it was called Kneadite, and knew that it was used in the dental industry. If you weren't actually a sculptor who used it, you know, you didn't. Where were you going to go and buy it? You couldn't. There wasn't an eBay. There wasn't an Amazon. Well, there was, but it sold books. You know, you weren't finding it anywhere else. So you used Milliput or used, you know, plasticine and fucked super glue over the top of it. So GW were one of the first to bring it in and actually sell it as a hobby product in a hobby store. And that's it, because they didn't sell Milliput.
So
Milliput,
we can conclude
in modeling shops.
Once again, Games Workshop is the root of all evil.
That's clay. Das clay's amazing. If only for how incredibly sticky it is. It's sticky.
Is it?
Das is incredibly sticky, and then it just air dries very slowly like a clay, and then shrinks and bits of it crack and fall off. It's good. Procreate's excellent. That brown stuff, I'm not sure what its actual name is. That brown stuff is excellent. But again, if you look back into really old white dwarves where they actually used to show people sculpting, you would occasionally see like the body was done in green stuff and then brown stuff was used to do the belts and stuff, because you can get sharper edges because it was harder and firmer. And they never sold that in stores. So, you know, it's one of those things.
Well, we pester him to get on with this project, even if he probably is not around anymore. Can't tell. Don't care. Next project. Dr. Totenkopf.
Yes.
That's a name we haven't heard in a long time.
A long time.
So he's all making Terminators. Great again. Unfortunate choice of words.
Fimo.
Fimo is
Sculpey,
an oven.
super Sculpey. You cook that, don't you? They're very good as well for doing stuff for basing wise. Just talking to Demon Sub.
Yeah, Fimo is, I think, available in both flavors, air drying and oven baked.
I only ever seen the oven bakey one. Never capable of using it in any way, shape, or form that was halfway decent, you know. But yeah, I like this just because he's done that madness that is quartering. Everybody loves quartering. And I didn't pick it because the Terminator librarian / captain looks like me.
Does he? Didn't notice.
Big hairy grey fella. I must be the captain, because there's the librarian with his bit on the end of his sword. But yeah, apart from the Howling Griffins-ness of it all, which, like so many Space Marine chapters, look terrific, and then you go, what do you mean I have to paint this yellow and red and quartered? Oh, why have I done this to myself? But you're just hitting it now. The building up the bases is one of the nicest pieces for me, because it's very, very space hulky.
Indeed.
But it is just a grab bag of shite laid out and built up to get your gratings, your grills, and your various tubes and wiring and conduits running down there, and it's genius.
So, question to the audience: anybody recognize this part? The metal thing in the middle. Don't tell Jerry. Don't tell them. I know what it is. I want to know if the chat does know what it is.
Of course they do. They're old. Look at them. See? Soup Dodger does.
Yeah, it's and the funny thing is, in today's sewing machines, these things are made of plastic.
Outrageous. Is that loud?
Possibly yes.
Is that so the child labour doesn't hurt themselves on a bit of metal in China when they're making all of the clothes for Beyonce, Kanye West?
The thing is, the metal part is 3 parts that need to be, what do you call it, merged and made into one, and the plastic part is just one piece push.
Dull. Dull.
Oh, see, next time I'm going to
Is that thing saying Austria there?
Yeah.
Beside his bobbin? Nice.
Next time I'm going to the sweet section of the supermarket, I'm going to take a closer look at every
feel free to
tray that is in there.
Feel free to open any of the biscuits as well, just to check what the trays are like on the inside. They don't mind that in supermarkets.
Yeah, so I am told. Especially these days.
Yeah.
Give it a lick. Yeah, so Dr. Totenkopf, just in case
Tatty demon.
You're getting back to us at some point in the future.
Again, I can't imagine he will.
Why?
These people did it. They just wanted to win a copy of Spulk.
No, I remember Dr. Totenkopf having done multiple projects with different things.
No, there will be other things from some of these people, but none of them were going to update the Spulk. It is there forever. Although I will say, definitely stealing some of his basing ideas. It's good to steal.
Inspiration.
That too.
It's definitely something different than all those ready-made bought bases some people seem to rely on these days.
Yeah. People are the worst.
People are actually...
Literally. Figuratively.
And by
allegorically, the worst.
Possibly even that. So now I have mashed all the buttons. What is the next project you have in store for us, Jerry?
Oh, now I need to...
Space Hulk 3D.
Yeah, this one's just here for me and Steve. Because this has been a mainstay. Now, this is an upgraded one. Look at that, with the Tyrannid Attack styly boards on it. But this was a mainstay of QCons past for decades until it went shit.
So this is bigger than in the initial picture led to believe.
Hey, you know, what they used to do was
amazing.
It's like Star Trek's 3D chess, except less boring and multiplayer. So this used to be run at QCon in Belfast, and you know, it was a multiplayer game played on multiple levels, so you could go up and go down and get fucked in a variety of ways. So not only does this a little blast in the past before the bad times, but also it includes the Revenge, where instead of always being Steelers on Space Hulk, there was the Marines attacking a hive fleet. Hence the ship we seen at the start is actually layers of Tyranid attack with all the Gribbly flooring on it. And he's also included the rules he used to run it in case anybody wants to play
6
multi-level
players.
Yeah.
It's
Generally
amazing.
four squads of 5 Marines, then 2 sets of NID players running about like lunatics. It's good. It's good, clean, family fun.
This looks like something I'd actually enjoy playing at a convention. Because it's so out of whack and out of the ordinary. And to be fair, this is a game simply by this sheer size that you would have had a hard time playing at home.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, it required multiple sets of Space Hulk or Tyranid attack, or access to a photocopier and printer. Either of these things. But it was just really nice, and there was always good fun around it. Yeah, it wasn't as good as the Vogon game, but you know what things were. The assault shuttles made out of foam board, yeah. And it's just not unusual or unique even, because it was literally the Space Hulk rules, but with elevations in there. Normally in Space Hulk, you didn't go up and down levels. You stayed on one level, and then the end of the scenario was you go down the ladder into the next level. Whereas this, you could try and, if something was scuttling towards you, you could try and dodge out of the way by dropping down one or coming up one and hoping it wasn't particularly great, or looking for some friends elsewhere. Try and complete all of the missions. And then the cat people arrived and fucked our convention. With their fucking Nintendos. Pricks.
Well, you may take some relief in it that they can't do anything at the current times at all. So
yeah, but they'll be back.
there's a
the only thing I
possibility.
can hope is that some of the cat people get hit by a car while crossing the street. At least, you know, at least I'll have that going for me. If I could put them in a bag and chuck them in the river, I would.
Space dwarves and battle armor.
They're Mantic's Forge Fathers. So, you know, why stop at only...
I love the fact that the top of the head is flush to the
Oh,
shoulder.
flush to the shoulders. Oh, fuck yeah. Hey, you don't want to... I mean, having your head sticking out above it just means somebody's going to come
Shoot
in
it.
sideways and take it off.
Yeah. Plus, if the alleyway gets too narrow, you have to pull in your head.
But that was the thing about the original Spelk, because through White Dwarf you got rules for Imperial Guard and Commissars and squats and all sorts of shit, and you know, also replacing Steelers with other nasty things like orcs or Chaos Cultists and Demons. So you can do all of that. Space Hulk was great. Not just this, here's a £95 box, we're only making 500 of them, you need to buy it today. And then we're not going to talk about it ever again. Like 6 years later they go, oh, we're going to do that again, but we're going to include one new scenario. Isn't that what they did?
And
They literally re-released it with one new scenario, and again went, there's 495 of them this time, fuck yous. We hate you all.
I got certain Cursed City vibes from this.
Oh yeah, yeah. Space Hulk is where they learned how to fuck people over. You want it? Everybody keeps bagging on about how good it was. Well, we've made it, but not all of you can buy it because we hate you, you cunts. And then they spat like gypsies.
And the worst part is this is a game that should be easy made into a computer game, and they even fucked that up.
Well, you know, I like the original. Was like PC/PlayStation 1? Was it? Oh no, it was earlier than PlayStation 1.
I think it was Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo or an Amiguri type thing. I remember it being desk loading on something, and it was quite good because graphics and processing speed were not where they are now. So whenever you moved, everything was a slow plod, and you felt like you were in Terminator armor because it took you a while to get up there, and then you'd hear a noise to your left, and when you turned around, there'd just be a gene stealer going, tss, and then your screen would go static. It was great. Cut back to start.
Yeah, and the more recent iteration is subpar. Let's call it that.
Oh, what a shame! I definitely remember being advertised for the 3DO, which I think was the upgraded version. But anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Next up is a project by Amachan. I
Yes.
didn't know she did Space Hulk.
Again, wanted to win. Put a big prize up and everybody jumps in there, especially when there's only 412. It's dropping every time. Buy it quickly. We'll print a second copy in 4 months. We won't.
At least she managed to finish her project.
Sure. And this one is all about the Deathwing. Weasel Fierce and Stormcloud and the others. Proper engines kicking around there. And also a really comprehensive guide if anybody is wanting to paint.
A very comprehensive color
Your
guide.
Deathwing. You can do this thing. Because by Christ, that's a lot of colours.
You should show this project, including the color list, to Free to make her buy even more.
Oh no, I'm quite content for her to have, what's it like, 3 paints? She's like 3 paints.
3 paints
Two of
and a
them-
wash.
and 2 of them are black and white.
I'm telling you, she's going to give you a run for your money when it comes to painting.
You know, not me. I'd have to paint for her to give me a run for money. And we know that doesn't happen.
Well, I really laugh a bit harder than I should when she started. What's with this spring clean challenge? I just keep buying more. I'm not going to paint anything. I'm just buying more. I was sitting here going, one of us.
That's how the magic happens.
Yeah, that's when.
That's true. Just give her yellow, and brown. And let her go full John Toyer. If I can find any examples of John Toyer. That could be a fucking XLBS topic. How did John Toyer win so many Golden Demons using only brown?
This should be a topic for a discussion that includes booze and beer. And maybe some content warning just before to say this is not for children.
Just all of the brown.
Yeah,
Brown goblins on a brown cliff attacking brown Skaven.
Next then, Tossjack. Kill Team Truehawk spaceship in Space Hulk.
Yes.
I'm making a spaceship plan, floor, tile layout from this.
Yes. But, right, he does that. He does do that. He makes he's got his plan. That's what you can play on. But fuck that. I can play on this in 3D. Dun, dun, dun. So this is actually how he went about building it in 3D, and then went, I need to texture this. Wait to see how he textures it.
Is this an
Fucking
official
amazing.
Games Workshop thing, or is it?
Nah.
I'm just wondering because of the semi-Aquila in front.
Oh, maybe it is then. I can't imagine what it's from though, because it's not tiles. The board of the True Hawk. I have no idea what don't even know what that is. Oh, it's from Kill Team. Alright, okay. Another, you can only buy 5 of these before we make a new one and never reprint the old one. Fuck you. Fuck you, you fucking fucks. They scream. While all of their accountants play a game of soggy biscuit.
Oh look, an ice bridge.
Yes, look. That's how the sunkenness happens. It's the board from the Kill Team box with the rogue trader. Okay. Means nothing to me. Oh, Vienna. Anyway, so he used that as his basis. And they went, looks good. Could be better. How to do this? How to invigilate it? make it more impressive, how about I get a rake of GW tiles and make impressions?
Sneaky.
Very clever, Mr. Bond. Very clever. And the best way to make an impression was to put it on the floor, slide it under his bed, put the bedpost on top, and then jump on his fucking bed. Huh? Huh?
Jump around. Jump around.
Jump up, and get down. But you know, you can't argue with the final fucking effect.
No, you can't.
No. It worked well.
Why am I imagining Warren doing this?
There would not be any floor tile left.
I just can't.
No. Scroll down so the kids at home can see the actual complete, because that was his test piece with his test paint scheme on it, which I have to say looks very good. But when you see the entire thing laid out with all of the texturing on it, fucking pretty spot on.
That looks amazing.
Now, I don't know who won the Spelk challenge, assuming that this was, yeah, it was part of the Spelk challenge. But fuck me, this one must have been in with a fair shout if he didn't.
At least an honourable mention.
Because Sweet Zombie Jesus, that was great. I don't even remember this at the time being talked about. So I don't know if I just missed it or if it slid on by me or what happened. But breaks out the Long Life Diamond, Ease Geezer, PVC floor sealer, and some cheap as shit paint. And away you go to fuck.
Yeah, this is. I think I'll have a slight giggle the rest of the night.
Yeah.
Especially when I get going to bed later and I now could put something under the bedpost and just. Honey, why do you want to have sex so often? We need more pressure on the bedposts.
And again, breaking out the lino floor tiles to use as the basing is also very clever because it's cheap and it's sturdy. So, you know, so there you go.
Yeah, this is...
It's a little fucking cracker.
Delightful little project.
Well.
And I think it deserves mention yet alone for the laughing factor that is the bedpost imprint.
Yarp.
To be honest, I would, if I was...
Think you get a golden butt for that, Lena?
if I was to think about how to make an impression on hard foam, I possibly would just put it under the wheel of a car, just drive over it.
It's a very dull impression, though.
Yeah, of course, not just simply drive over it, but have something that makes an imprint. But I wouldn't go to my...
I wouldn't put it under bed. No, to be fair, wherever my Kings of War bases are, where I was using the foam and then just the Green Stuff World rollers, and they take an impression very well just by leaning on them. You don't even have to. I mean, sure, you can put it under bedpost, but why?
Because it's a flat stamp he used. It's just grand. Love it.
Madness. But, you know, it's all good.
So, one last project for the night. Is Lena alright? I think she's laughing herself to death.
No, she's gone wrong somewhere. Don't worry about it.
So, Warhound 76 did some... what you call it? Space Hulk.
Yes. Strange that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But by the looks of it, he doesn't need to win another because he already has the box.
Hey, you know, some people have the box, some people don't. It's just one of those things.
Oh, 28 quid Facebook Marketplace. That's almost annoyingly cheap. I dare not to wonder how much they go for these days.
No idea. £12?
Possibly a bit more, I guess.
More than £12?
Yeah, possibly. Oh, he's customizing his bases to quite a degree.
Yes, because obviously they don't come on bases because they're board game pieces, so they come on weird shapes. Some of them come on almost proper bases, and other ones just come on lumps of ground of various rectangles and stuff, which is okay, but I suppose it does limit their use to spulk only, whereas in this case you can, build it up and go to town. Plastic is that color, so you can play your red marines against your blue aliens out of the box without having to paint, if you're not a painter.
Yeah, that's the one of the redeeming factors I feel for the later installments of the Games Workshop products that are not 40k or Age of Sigmar / Warhammer, because in Blood Bowl they also did different colored plastics in the box, so it's a way to get people in more easily.
Yeah, it's like my hat Waterloo figures. All my British are red, all the French are blue. It's very good in that respect.
And how do we know this is a Games Workshop product? Skulls.
Skulls.
Everywhere.
Baby skulls.
And
all the baby
because
skulls.
the skulls that are sculpted onto the base are not enough, let's throw in some more skulls.
These Romans are crazy. Yeah, it's a nice little guide on how he rebased, I suppose, upscaled his turnip haters, and you get a nice sort of basic paint scheme with a few little touches in there. Even breaks out the Tamiya, which is a bit mental. But if you go, because I know you don't like going to page 2s, but if you do go to page 2, you can see them more or less complete.
Oh, let's see if this works.
Yeah, so we are batch painting. And not just the Marines, but the Jan Steelers as well.
And he's taking pictures that would make Lloyd go jizz. They are big.
Yeah, but they're not from behind.
True that.
Not from behind.
Oh, see, here's the...
He's got writing in his book.
The one with the lot of skulls.
Look at the length of that tongue. It's like Jane. Speaking of which, has anybody seen the Fantasy Kiss models that Stronghold have released?
No.
Well, you probably will the weekender. Because if I can fucking get them squeezed in, I will.
I was going to say, this reminds me of, what was that movie called again? Earth Girls Are Easy?
Yep.
Yeah, this was the scene where Jim Carrey, I think it was Jim Carrey getting something out of a glass. The girl standing next to him going...
At least we know where Lloyd's furry tendencies sprang from. Clearly they came from Earth Girls Are Easy. Been with him ever since.
Explained a lot.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I have seen that movie too, but until he mentioned it, somehow it was erased from my memory.
That is protective amnesia.
Very possible. Yeah. And
you're missing much. It ranks up there with what was the Encino Man? It's just a lot of shit films in the early 90s.
Oh yeah, some of them were more worse than others, to say it gently.
I say that. It must be now. Actually, that may have been the 80s.
What?
Let's face it, it hasn't aged as well as Bill and Ted.
No. Was Coneheads the same time? Or was that
Same
earlier?
mass quantities. It must have been about the same time, late 80s.
My Offspring.
Any Polly Shore film, or no? Like Biodome. Oh god. How is he even a thing?
No, Grimwolf, they don't paint...
Conehead's 93 for the film. Shocking.
They don't paint Star Wars today. I hope so, because that would go off the regular path. But if they do, and they still do it when we are finished here, I'm pretty sure I'm going to nag someone. Make him my bitch. You will do my bidding.
Make Star Wars Legion an epic scale.
In tiny, tiny epic scale. Do it in 3 mil if you will.
Oh man, could you imagine 3 mil?
Well, in 3 mil,
I mean,
stormtroopers would be little white dots.
Yeah. But you could have your whole battalions and fucking AT-ATs
Yes.
as far as the eye can see.
Epic, epic, epic. So the last link for today is not in the project
I think 6
system.
mil might work though. Anyway, yeah. No, yeah. Last link.
It's something Dutch earlier already told us about in the chat. Block Mega Mania Bundle.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. So this is a game that is actually made by the late Richard Halliwell, and he is credited as such on the box.
He is. Both. Well, this is both Block Mania and Mega Mania, the expansion, to up the player number from 2 to 4. And it's 2000 AD goodness. What happens when shit's gone real? You've got to get out of your block and take on all the cunts who are trying to take your food away. It's good guys against bad guys, and who you are is entirely up to you, whether you're a good guy or a bad guy.
Gestapo Bob Harris. Well, that's a name I wouldn't not have expected.
I don't know. It's pretty much exactly what I expect from 80s 2000 AD. Somewhere, my original copy of Block Mania and Chainsaw Warrior, I imagine, ended up in a skip in Belfast. Because student household, I left them behind in a fucking cupboard, and I imagine the landlord just went into the skip with anything that's left behind. Which is, gutting.
Yeah.
Very gutting. I will say, it's 25 quid for the expansion, and I think 30 for the main game. You can buy the pair for 50 quid. It's not terrible price. It is limited. So I don't know how limited that is.
And it's hardback.
They say hardback. I think that's just because they mostly sell comic books, and as a way to differentiate softback from hardback, they put that in, because I imagine it's just all paperback in there. There will be no hardback. However, it is in a box, so they went, well, we can't call it paperback. But yeah, Block Mania, so much fun. It should be illegal. Maybe I'll make people play this on camera. That could be fun if I could get 4 of them around the table.
Yeah, but that would mean you would be allowed to have 4 people at the table again.
Yeah, it's bound to happen sooner or later.
That's true.
It can't go on. We were talking about this today. The lockdown has to end eventually, even if we just all take the hit and murder one other person to get the numbers down. I go, look, we've done our part. We've killed 200,000. That's what they said. Statistically, the worst case scenario would be 200,000 dead in the UK. We've upped the numbers from the 140 or whatever Boris currently is murdered. We just need to kill another 60,000 between us. We can do this, people. We hit the 200,000, go, worst case is passed, we can open up now. I'm pretty sure that's how numbers of deaths work in cases like this.
Yeah. Taurus is suggesting playing outdoors, but I think that's not a good idea, playing with paper tokens.
Yeah. If anybody wants to see how bad an idea that is, they should just Google when the Beasts of War guys came back from Essex after GW threatened to sue them into the Stone Age, and find those early videos when they did things like, we'll do an outdoor thing, or we'll have a little like outdoor chat, weekender type affair. They were fucking appalling.
I remember a video of them sitting in a tank.
Oh, the tank was practically fine. No, it's when they're like just sitting at a picnic table trying to have a conversation, and all you could hear is the fucking howling wind. The microphones crying out for mercy.
Yeah, for some reason, a few weeks ago, the YouTube algorithm suggested to me ancient videos from Beasts of War.
Right.
And it's hard to look at them.
Everybody's thinner.
Yeah, but also especially Justin looks so different.
He's very thin. He was subsisting mostly at that stage on nicotine and Monster Energy drink. So yeah.
And he didn't have a beard.
I don't think he grew one then. It was pre-puberty, wasn't it? He not just only hit puberty like 7 years ago, I think. Somebody would have to do the maths. I'm not checking. Bring back Daryl. No, thank you.
Who the fuck is Daryl? Do I want to know? Possibly
not. Not particularly. No. Daryl was one of those. What's the phrase? Cants. He's a tournament player, so he'd do things like, what's the filthiest, cheesiest list I can run for Space Wolves? Fucking. What's Thunderwolf Cavalry? They were filth. Great. Buy a box of 3 of those. I then just cast for like another 18 because I'm not paying the money for them. You understand? Oh, that was it. Every fucking army.
Wait,
buy the bare minimum and then just cast his own. Oh fuck yeah, he's a cock.
How is that even tournament legal?
Because nobody ever takes one of your models when you're playing and takes a knife and scrapes it to make sure it's real. I imagine that's how that one goes. There's 50 missile launcher Space Wolves, yeah, shit like that. He was just a bell end.
Yeah. Well, on that happy note, on this rather not so happy occasion, I think we could call it a day at a very sharp 28 minutes.
Sweet.
Yes, I think, because I actually need to go and
have
potentially
jump on the bed,
go and pester some people over at
tell Star Wars Legion to make epic.
Yes.
Just scream 6mm at them. Just go 34mm is for cants. Where's my 6mm stuff, you posers?
Somewhere I already have a text file where I have written down some variations of "can we please have," and I will just copy and paste that for the coming weeks. So everybody in chat, thank you for being here. Everybody on YouTube, thank you for listening in later. Jerry, thank you for being here.
Single man, whoever they are.
And I guess we're off now. Have a good one. Bye.
Bye.